All right, guys. Bear with me for a second. So, Gorillaz are an English virtual band formed in 1998 by musician Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett from London, as we all know.
Of course.
um,
What else happened in 1998?
what happened in 1998?
Mankind got through. The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, broke his back and
It was a
everything.
good year.
The Big Show.
Open your YouTube page and tell us the very first thing. Top left corner.
Is that what we're all doing? Ready? Go.
Yeah,
Hilarious
we'll start with Zach. We'll
difficulty
start with
of the
Zach.
American accent. The Graham Norton Show, BBC. The next one is a VR
Metroid?
chat experience, and it's the Ugandan Knuckles. So, make that what you will.
Well, that says a lot. All right, that says a lot about Zach. All right, David, pull up YouTube.
My first.
Top left.
Okay. Metroid Fusion official Nintendo Switch Online trailer.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, shit.
All right. Next one is rain sounds and lo-fi music.
Wow. Okay.
And the final one is a random Hasanabi Industrial Complex
Yes.
video.
So you and Zach are connecting on something at least a little bit here, but also wow, it definitely sounds like you're like what was the first one again?
The Metroid Fusion official Nintendo Switch
It
Online
sounds like
trailer.
you're a dad who's stressed out. Like you're a dad who owns a Nintendo Switch, but then has to listen to calming music while playing Metroid. Zach sounds like he is.
I don't know why this random BBC interview is
Nope.
on my top left.
Sorry, Zach.
I don't get it.
That's who you are.
Do you like Graham Norton?
No, I don't
you-
know.
are you
know
Graham
who
Norton?
is.
Wait, you don't know who Graham Norton is?
Wait,
No.
you don't know who Graham Norton is?
Let me see.
He's a talk show host.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I just think of Graham
okay,
Norton and Adele
everyone-
rapping
everyone-
Monster.
Everyone do your first two YouTube shorts.
Well, hold on. Ed, tell me what your top. If you open YouTube, what are your
Oh, yeah.
top? Your first two. Give me your first two.
All right, I had to log in because
It's been a
otherwise
while.
it's always Mr. Beast and like Sniper Wolf.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
standard.
yep.
The titties
Um,
and donations.
So
I will say one thing before it gets to his. That just randomly, I've seen one thing of it, and it's locked in somewhere in my feed is some Finster video.
Oh yeah.
Those who know. Those who don't need to.
I don't want to know.
Okay.
But just somewhere,
Alright.
it's just a Finster video. You can look it up. I don't
I'm
know
not
why
ruining my
it's locked
YouTube
in.
algorithm. All right. All right. Ed,
We know
give
why.
me your top two.
We know why. We know why. Zach. It's okay.
Yeah, if you
You're a man
know,
of culture.
I am not embarrassed. All right.
there you go.
You're a man of culture.
You
My,
fall for
my-
it too. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would have said otherwise. Upgrading a fight stick video, AVGN Mortal Kombat ripoff, and then right next to it, no, we said top two, but the third one is Cassiopeia Midnight Rendezvous drum cover.
There we go.
That is
The real Cassiopeia fan. I'm a fake Cassiopeia fan.
Yeah, Ed is the real. Ed is the only real one here. All right. Let's see if I'm. Let's see if I'm real. Let's see if let's see what you get from me, and if it can connect to our episode at all today. All right, my first one is Caroline Polachek, Glastonbury 2022 live BBC music. I'll get to that later. The second one is plays that didn't count but get increasingly more impressive, and it's Kobe like going making like an face.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one making the rounds. I've been getting those like
NBA highlight videos.
Kobe being legendary, and it gets more
Increasingly more
legendary as it goes
impressive or
on.
whatever. Yeah, so
Yeah.
first one I've got is a live music performance, then I've got NBA stuff. The third, which I know we said only do, but the third one is the tragedy of a landmark album, De La Soul. And I feel like that's slightly irrelevant.
We're talking about third ones. My third
Yeah.
one is a new Noel Miller video.
Oh,
Who's
Yep.
Noel Miller?
He's a comedian.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has a really good podcast. It's really funny.
yeah. He does stuff on YouTube too.
All right, David, what did you say the top two
What are
YouTube
your top
shorts?
two YouTube shorts?
All right,
Top
David,
two
you have to
right
start
now?
because you brought it up.
Okay, my top two are Kami's new design is perfect, and the second one is Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia's new album.
Okay, so you've got a thirsting over Cammy and then slightly obscure hip hop.
Cammy thighs, and experimental underground hip hop.
Right.
My
Zach?
first one is How to Gain 55 Pounds of Muscle, and it's from the one guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, Mac.
And then it's a D&D short from Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Okay, okay.
Hey.
That's pretty normal, in my opinion.
All right.
Ed?
It starts going off the rails after that.
Well, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. All right, Ed?
Do
Mine
not check my browser history.
Yeah,
says Matt Surprise, a Critical Role short from, I guess,
that's
Critical
not surprising
Role.
at all.
And then when you find a harpsichord, and then on the thumbnail for the video, it's got the real Slim Shady.
What?
No.
Okay, that's the weirdest one yet, I
So
think.
imagine, like, when you find a harpsichord, you feel the need to play dun, 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 dun.
From
Dun,
Slim
dun.
Shady. Yeah, okay,
Dun,
yes,
dun,
okay,
dun,
okay.
dun,
Now it
dun.
makes sense. Okay, yes. I was a little confused and scared at first.
Does anyone randomly get the Big Bear Valley Eagle Nest live cam?
Very randomly, I've gotten
Do
like
you guys know the song
Eagle
After
Nest
Party
cam.
before I continue on with what I'm about to say?
What'd you say?
Know the song
After
After Party
Party.
by Don Tolliver?
Yes. I know
One of
who
my
Don Tolliver
recommended
is, but yeah,
videos
that's
is just
yeah. Is the one with the capybaras? Yeah.
capybara things.
Yep.
Just
Just look up Don. Just look up After Party. Was it After Party
the video's just
capybara?
called Okay I Pull Up.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I pull up, and then it's just capybaras like getting in a bath and like chilling.
No, mine's different. It's just capybara shit, and it's just to After Party.
I'm pretty sure most people have probably, well, I don't know if most people have heard that song, but it's got kind of like a chiptune sound, and then all of a sudden it turns into a trap song.
Yes.
Started in the trap, now I rap.
I'll share the one that I just got, and everyone can watch it on their own time. I'll put it in music, I guess. All right, my top two just to round it out. I don't know what mine are kind of boring, I think. My first one says Outcast's manager says he never ... So I've got an Outcast manager says he never something. And then the next one
that's
is
the one I have. That's the
the
video
jump
I have.
shots you see at LA Fitness. And it's some guy
I've
doing
seen that
like
one.
dumbass jump shots.
Yep, I've seen that one. I've seen that one come across.
He's like doing
I
ones
think that
where
one
you
came
like
across for me like 2-3 days.
you do it all the way behind your head or whatever jump shot. I don't know what the
Yes.
Outcast
Daniel, I have
manager
that
says he
exact
never
same
understood them.
capybara thing. That's
Oh, the
video I was
same
talking
exact
about.
one. Yes,
Yes.
with the CGI.
Yes.
For some reason, it fits perfectly. I mean, especially the drop, and he's just swimming.
Yes. Smiling friends.
I refreshed and now I have P5 Enjoyer tries Persona 4 and a random Anthony Fantano old album review. Actually, it just came out 5 minutes ago.
We've been
Alright,
listening
we're
to so much
doing it.
music that now we're just getting music requests. Everyone got music stuff
Yep.
except Zach, I think.
Yeah.
Zach is not a real. He's
I
not a
don't listen
real.
to music on YouTube a lot. Well, not like official music on
It's
YouTube.
laughing. I don't know why
like,
it's laughing.
I listen to YouTube Live, like, so.
Ed, what's so
I would
funny?
find random like mixes I'll find on YouTube that I can't find anywhere else and play. Because there's a ton of like mixes that are really good.
Ed, you can't just laugh like that and not say anything.
So I refreshed, and my first video is Guilty Gear Zerd Rev 2 Stimulating Fists of Annihilation Translation.
Oh my god.
That's not why I laughed though.
Go on.
The second one is like, because I've seen it before. Is they have what's that one song? I don't wanna lose your love
Yes.
tonight,
Yes.
right? You remember how that song starts?
Do I have to look it up
This is
before I
a
get
Joe
it?
Biden video.
No, this starts with Josie's on a vacation far away.
Yes.
Well,
I just got the presidents discuss their top 5 anime.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to hear the rest of the story.
It's got a thumbnail of Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie,
Oh,
like
please
the dumb one.
stop. Keep going.
Because it sounds like him when he sings Josie's on a vacation
No.
far away.
I mean, it does. What is that song called? I don't want to lose your love tonight.
Yeah, I'll post it in fucking...
Yeah, just give me the video.
One of my recommended videos is Carl Weezer Glimpse of Us Croissant Remix.
All right. Well, Zach, you know, no offense, Zach, and I really, it's just I feel like we are learning more and more about you as you tell us.
Oh, I know.
So you can either stop telling us or tell us more, but.
Am I still capable of enjoying an ice cream episode?
Please. Please. Okay, I just refreshed. You know what I got? I got Cassiopeia's album, which was updated yesterday, and Guilty Gear Strive Snake Eyes versus Sid. So I think these are pretty normal. I think.
Refreshed. My first one is We Are Japanese Goblin.
Wait, what is that?
I don't know. Okay, I can't get rid of this VR chat experience video. It's been in my top 3 every refresh.
De La Soul featuring MF Doom. That's what it's like number 8 on my list.
I also had
Guys,
one of my top ones is VFD displays, just like dragging me back to the 90s again. So,
what did you say, David?
I just refreshed my YouTube, and the first video is Dream of Bussy Shin Megami Tensei.
All right.
Persona.
Zach and David need to go into fucking YouTube jail. Jesus. I mean, Zach was bad. Now David's
Okay,
getting...
it's funny. It's funny because the song is Dream of Butterfly. I guess someone was just like, nah, we're calling it Dream of Bussy.
Hey man, Bussy's Bussy. Shit, he was drinking something.
Big iron, but everything happens.
I'm trying to consume an alcoholic beverage in peace.
Same.
My number one recommended now is Big Iron, but everything happens immediately.
Please, because you sent me the video Big Iron. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Let me look up what Big Iron is in the first place.
Dream of Bussy.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Zach or someone sent me Big Iron. Because I was like, what the fuck is Big Iron?
That Big Iron
Big
Bussy.
Iron,
Maybe it was that. Somebody sent me Big Iron. I'm like, I've never heard of Big Iron before. Anyways, I just, wow. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter how many times I refresh it. Mine is more normal than y'all's, I think.
Well, me and Zach are terminally on.
Yeah, I am terminally online, unfortunately, so mine just... Sometimes it's normal, and sometimes it gets some dumbass shit. I don't know why it's on there.
I gotta say,
Trump, Biden, and Obama talk Persona.
It's just called Quaaludes Re-Upload.
Bill Cosby re-upload.
I own a missile for Homeland Defense.
What? I'm so...
Kissing the homies goodnight with Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan.
Okay. I do have to say.
Zach's is unhinged.
Okay, I do have to say, Zach will post, especially in our Discord channel. Zach will post videos. I don't want to say frequently, but generally when Zach decides to post a video from YouTube or whatever, it is quality online content like that.
It's just, I've been recommended this video, it makes it to me, and it's just like...
It doesn't ever make it to me. It makes it to Zach, and then we find it out through Zach. Like the Australian rap video.
Well, thanks to about a week or two ago, now I'm getting orangutan
Australian rap video. Is
that?
It was from a streamer, because he just did a video, and he just sit down and do video recommends, and it's just, I see that video, I'm like, this is hilarious. Everyone needs to see
Dude, what's that dude's name again?
Oh,
What's his name? God, I forgot his name, and I'm gonna get embarrassed if he ever listens to our show. Young Skirt. So long story short, I was watching Brian F.
I remember you telling me.
Yes, I was watching Brian F., who is a professional Street Fighter player. I love watching his Street Fighter, him stream on Twitch for Street Fighter, and he streams other fighting games sometimes, but so I was watching him, and the chat's not, there's normally about 200-300 people, so not a huge amount. It's like a good amount where there's a normal conversation. And all of a sudden someone commented one time, and I was like, Young Skirt, wait, I know Young Skirt. And he was talking about Street Fighter stuff, and I was like, I was like, wait, Young Skirt, is that the fucking Australian rap guy that Zach like showed me 2 weeks ago? And so I added him, and I said, what was the song called? Oh no! And I added him. I said, "Oh no!" with like a bunch of exclamation parts. And then all of a sudden, I get like a 6-month subscription to Young Skirt's Twitch. Like premium, and so I just have now I have a premium subscription to Young Skirt, and he gets on at like fucking 4 a.m. and makes beats. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm never awake at 4 a.m. to watch you make beats.
Oh,
but
God.
it's just one of those.
Young Skirt, no.
It's one of those like random things that it's just like you don't ever expect to have a connection with this person, and then all of a sudden you just do. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I think that's weird.
Adore the Big Show. The Big Show.
I'm gonna be that guy, but the first few lyrics of "Let's Get Retarded"
Yes.
say, in this context, there's no disrespect, but when I bust my rhyme, you break your neck. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm affect.
I'm gonna say this now because
good old red alert memes.
does anyone? Okay, I'm gonna ask an honest question, and I feel like Ed's gonna answer a certain way. David will probably answer another way because I think they might be on opposite ends of the spectrum here. I don't know if you know what I'm about to ask. If you have any idea.
I might.
Sounds like something Black Eyed Peas.
Were the Black Eyed Peas ever good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm actually.
I'm neutral in this. I'm not saying anything.
Listen. I think I've said this before. I liked the early Black Eyed Peas. I like Elefunk.
Same.
There was just something post Elefunk where it just became the most watered down, like manufactured pop drivel that was just pounded into my eardrums for the next decade against my will.
Against my will.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
See what you mean.
Forced into your eardrums at every second.
Literally and figuratively. Figuratively as in it's always on the radio, and then literally because all throughout high school, Billy, Ed, Dominique, Daniel, everyone was like, we know you hate Black Eyed Peas, so we're going to play it all the fucking time and drive you insane.
Yes. Anytime David's around, we are
Just
blasting
blasting Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas.
Now think of Black Eyed Peas, but what was in The Sims?
The Simlish Black Eyed Peas?
I want to say it's actually a thing because there's a game, Herb Sims in the City, and it stars all the Black Eyed Peas.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
Like the title song is the
Look,
let's get started, but it's
they were
Sims.
listen. Looking back now, I'm not gonna hate on the hustle. They were selling out hard. Okay, they were like, we're going to maximize profit as much as we can, while we are the biggest pop acts in the world.
What if I told you
got
I
the
love
bag.
every second of the Black Eyed Peas?
I know you're lying.
Hey, don't worry.
I just remember, I literally think, I want to say it was like in college or something.
So, okay,
I think you were
let me
like,
ask you guys
David,
one
I
question.
have a confession.
Well, I'll let you.
I actually don't like the Black Eyed Peas.
Wait, you-
solely only play the Black Eyed Peas. You told me this.
Me and Billy, I think, said that. We were like, I don't
you guys
don't
were like,
really
yeah,
like them. No, at least not the last
and
like
I got
5
so
years.
pissed. I was like, I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
So I have a question.
Yes, Zach?
Why are Black Eyed Peas still making shit?
They actually came
Exactly.
out with something like a year ago that was actually kind of good.
So
Kind of.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's
Don't you
another thing.
worry. 2022, Black Eyed Peas, Shakira, David Guetta.
They had something like recently that was
David
okay.
Guetta. No. Okay, listen. Okay, so I want to say in 2017 or 2018, the Black Eyed Peas came out for something for the first time in 5 or 6 years. Also,
RTMO?
Fergie is no longer in Black Eyed Peas, so it's back
Oh,
to
no.
the original.
What are you
Because
gonna
when
say
they originally started, Fergie was not involved with them. She didn't join them until they made Elefunk.
Yep.
And originally, I think, weren't they part of Ruthless Records?
Yes.
With Eazy-E, and so Eazy, when he made his own record company, he had Black Eyed Peas and Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yep.
And so Black Eyed Peas. What was the album they came out with? Hold on, I'm looking right now.
Falling up.
98 or 2000?
2018, Masters of the Sun. I have not listened to anything. I haven't
2018.
listened to Translation. I see that's came out in 2020, and apparently they just came out with something called Elevation. But Masters of the Sun.
Elevation.
Okay, look. If you look between that and the beginning, which is the last thing they did, there was an 8-year gap. There's an 8-year gap. They come back in 2018, no Fergie, and they just make a regular hip hop album.
Yep.
And I actually like it. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
I
good
like
stuff on it. The first song on it is called Back to Hip Hop, and it has Nas in it.
There was a song, what was it called? Get It, I think. And I don't know if it was on that album or if it was just a single or something. But
They have All Around the World with a Tribe Called Quest.
yeah, I mean,
They
Oh,
put
shit.
'em-
and that's how their stuff,
Well, everyone
like on
except for
Elefunk and
you-
before, Elefunk and before, their stuff was pretty much like that, where they were like doing like the collabs with a bunch of like New York guys and stuff.
yeah, they were
And,
just like a boom bop hip hop group.
I will go out on a limb and also say that that the last stuff they released, I have not listened to the stuff from 2022.
And I'll give Will.i.am credit. He can make beats.
yeah, well, they're all talented. I think even Fergie,
Yeah.
if you want to say, like as a
Okay, well,
Like,
yeah,
they're all talented.
Fergie's a good singer. Fergie's a good singer, and she had some good songs as a solo artist. I just the 2000s, like post Elefunk to like 2010 when they made their last album with
You're
all of
blaming
them
Fergie.
collectively together, is just a concentrated. No, because it's Will.i.am is the head of Black Eyed Peas. That was his artistic vision, was to just go ultra pop sellout. Like he did that for 6 years, and I mean,
It
can
worked.
you blame him?
It worked.
Hold on, let's look up Will.i.am's net worth right now, and let's see if that was a good idea.
I mean, that man made Into the Sims, so he can't be doing too bad.
He was I mean,
In an unironically pretty good Sims game.
David, let me ask you
The
this:
PS2.
I be
His net
everywhere.
worth is $70 million.
I be everywhere.
Just Will.i.am.
Everybody know me. Super fresh with dope styling. I mean, like no one, everyone knows this line. She give me IQ. That means she give head.
I don't give him
Thank you.
beats.
Thank
I
you.
just give him
Thank you
bread.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
wasn't that what it was? Because I look into the mirror, and the mirror look at me, and the mirror be like, "Baby, you the shit. God damn it, you the shit." I'm feeling
You're
myself.
the shit.
God damn it, you're the shit. Well, if we're speaking about 2000s hip hop groups, well, not really. I don't know. I was trying to make a transition here, but if we're speaking about 2000s, I don't know.
Alt rock.
I don't know what to call
Alternative.
alternative music. I was gonna say. I mean, to me, Black Eyed Peas and Gorillaz are in the same ballpark. They're not the same genre, but like to me, they occupy a similar space in my head, if that makes sense. Like, Gorillaz are definitely way different, but
How, Sway?
they're both in
How?
like 2005 in my brain.
Are they both slopper music?
Maybe that's what it. You know what? Maybe that's what it is. When I think of
Thanks,
Black
Slop.
Eyed Peas and Gorillaz, I think of Ed, both of them. Because I remember Ed fucking torrented the new Black Eyed Peas album. What was it? The one that David hated even more than the one before it. It was like their
Let me see.
last album
Which
with
one?
Fergie.
It was the one that had "Meet Me Halfway."
It was the one that had "Boy, think about it every night." And
Yep.
day.
I
I'm
just
addicted.
can't get enough.
Yes, and
Just
David
can't
hated that
get
one so
enough.
much, and we all loved playing
Except when you
that.
got a brother dreaming.
And then bam, 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 bam. Switch up.
Yes.
Switch up. I just can't
just
switch
can't
up.
switch up.
David
remember
would
bobbing.
sing the entire thing.
Wait, hold on. Is that's the no? That was the end. That was the one
The
before
end.
the last
Yes.
one. The energy, never died.
dies.
Yes.
That one has. Listen, guys, listen. Listen to how this starts. It starts boom, boom, pow. Then
Yes.
rock that body.
Yes.
Then
God,
meet me
all
halfway.
fire.
Then I'm a bee.
Yes.
Then I got a feeling.
I mean, you literally can. I mean, that is all fire straight through. I mean, like literally, all of those are like number one singles.
Yep.
Not even joking.
Every single
Gotta
one.
get that.
Gotta get that.
Gotta get
The
that.
beginning was the last one. It was called The Beginning.
Yeah.
And it had the time dirty
was
bit.
Dirty Bit.
Just can't get enough.
Yeah.
Don't stop the party and whatever.
I just can't get enough.
Dirty bit.
Dang,
No.
Oh, that's the one I remember.
Dirty
Someone posted on Facebook was like, "Did you know the original lyrics to Dirty Bit said, 'I came up in here to rock, light a fire, suck some cock.'"
Yes. I'm trying to be very informative.
Please.
Oh man. You know, I remember listening to
Ironic dicko mode.
because they both.
Yep.
I could be completely wrong, but I remember we were all at Billy's house. This is 2010, and Ed had pirated The Beginning, like right when it came out, and I'm pretty sure that Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out like the same week, or like it feels like that in my mind. like literally an album that's considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and then the Black Eyed Peas, and they both came out like literally. I think they were like the same week. I could be wrong. Someone Google
Okay.
like The Beginning and fucking My Beautiful, because me, David, Ed, Billy, Dominique, we were all at Billy's house, and David
remember
was
that.
trying to
Yes,
play
you're-
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and we were like, no, fuck that.
My
We're listening.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out November 22nd, 2010. And The Beginning came out November 26th,
Yep.
2010.
Yep.
So they were within
I knew
4
it.
days
I
of each
fucking
other.
knew it. and we were all like, David was like, listen to this new Kanye album. We were like, no, fuck that. We're listening to Black Eyed Peas. And then literally driving David insane.
I honestly don't even remember that. The fact that I was trying to
I
do
can't
like,
believe
no,
I
guys, I'm
remember
trying to
that.
listen to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I remember
Like,
that.
Shut the fuck up. We're listening to the Black Eyed Peas album.
Like, turn that shit off. We're listening to Black Eyed Peas right now. I swear to God, I have this because we were all playing Street Fighter 4, and Ed had torrented the new Black Eyed Peas album. We were cranking it and just being like, just going ham listening to it. And I just
What is
remember
this?
David being
All
like,
the
"Can we
lights?
listen to?"
Cut that shit
David
off.
was like,
I
"Can we
don't
listen to
wanna
All
hear
the
it."
Lights?" And we were like, I think we watched the music video for All the Lights, and we were like, that sucked. And then like, just listen to Black Eyed Peas.
I think we were like in Billy's like living room.
We were in Billy's living room.
Like
Ed was at
listening
like
at
a
that
little
circle table.
circular dining table with a laptop downloading.
I don't want to listen to fucking Runaway with Push At.
No, get that shit off. Put on Dirty Bit.
I took notes on this one, much like David did.
I also
Except
took
for the
notes.
first
Well, this is for my first listen. I've listened to it several more times since then. But
Ironically, I didn't because I listened to it day of, thinking, oh, I don't have time to take notes and all that stuff because I was listening to it while working. Because I
you
thought
listened
we were
to it all
doing
since then?
the podcast last Monday. Slop.
hey, you had plenty of time to absorb everything about it. All right.
Actually,
Yes, David?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I actually haven't had a chance to listen to it. I kind of listened to it again for a second time, but not like fully all the way through. So
I'm gonna say, Ed, say something.
Cracker Island is a 2023 album released by Gorillaz in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Say it at the beginning and the end.
Did I mention it wasn't 2023?
When did it
The
come
first, I think, 2022.
out? Yeah, that's what I thought.
The first track on the album, which was released as a single beforehand, featuring Thundercats, was Cracker Island, which was also the name of the album.
Interesting. What does that mean?
Cracker Island refers to... I was going to come up with something, and then I just drew a blank.
So here's the thing that, without like getting into too much or getting into any kind of weeds for myself, I'm just gonna say like, so the first time I listened to this, first of all, it's weird to me listening to a Gorillaz album in 2023 already. Like, they just feel so 2005 to me whenever I think of them, you know? So it already kind of like takes me back in time just to listen to them just because of the name, like thinking about them or whatever. But like, when I started listening to this the other day, and I sat down on my computer, pulled it up on Spotify, went to genius.com, pulled up the lyrics for every song or whatever, or was like going through each song as I was listening to it. And I was just like, I mean, not entirely, but for a lot of it, I was like, I think I'm behind on some Gorillaz lore here because a lot, like as I was reading the lyrics and stuff and listening to the songs, I was like, yeah, I don't know what it's referring to 90% of the time. It feels like some virtual band stuff. That was my initial reaction with Cracker Island.
I do remember
the very first song.
that I don't know how it is now. As someone who, I listened to Gorillaz early on. I love Plastic Beach and I love Demon Days specifically. Demon Days is one of my favorite albums of all time. But I remember there was always a story that like each album there was kind of like an update of like how each member what they were doing or what their mental state was or what they were going into or something.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I mean I remember Murdoch was always like the like edgy Satanist dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that he's like the cult leader in this. Is 2D the main guy? Or is that the girl? Okay, he's the singer. Yeah. I just don't remember the storylines for everyone else.
That's the thing. I'm not a deep Gorillaz lore guy. At least not since Demon Days. So that's where I was like, I don't really know what's going on, and I didn't look it up, unfortunately. So I don't. Ed, do you know what's going on? Ed, fill us in.
Well, because I could go well into the story as much as I know. Okay, so Gorillaz started when Murdoch, the bass player, accidentally ran into 2D and broke his eye, and then they went to court, and he was forced to take care of him. And then in his care, he broke his second eye, which is why 2D has like black eyes.
This is just starting off so great.
And so then eventually they put I think an ad out, and they got a hold of Russell, the drummer, and then they're like, well, now we need like someone else, and they ordered Noodle from Japan. She came in a crate, except Noodle was actually like a secret agent who gets activated when you say, I think it was Bacon of the Sea or something like that.
Okay, hold on. They ordered her from Japan.
Yes,
she
came in a crate.
Now,
Noodle and 22 other children were trained for the sole purpose of fighting as soldiers for the Japanese military and government.
So I'm just gonna throw this out here, and I feel like if Gorillaz were invented in 2023, I don't think they would be allowed to order Noodle from Japan. But okay,
Gorillaz canceled.
Yeah, Gorillaz have been keep going.
I mean, this was
2001 was when they
2001
was when they were actually like made their first album, right?
Yeah,
think so.
Yeah, I think Gorillaz came out in 2000.
Yeah, or like millennium. So I mean, this is the beginning of 2001, fucking 2.5 decades ago.
Then eventually, they were competing with a rival music producer, and said rival music producer put out a hit on Noodle during the filming of Feel Good Inc. when she's on the island, and which is why, like in the El Mañana music video, she's still on the island, but is getting attacked by attack helicopters.
Okay.
And so it appears that they killed Noodle, but they faked her death in order to con this guy. That's as far as I had gotten.
So you were reading this recently to like catch up, or is this just what you know off the top of your head?
This is what I remembered, because eventually, during the events of Plastic Beach, something happened where Russell got exposed to radiation, and then he grew super large, and he's like swimming to the Plastic Beach. a second clone of Noodle was made, and so now you have this like 2D animated Noodle, and then you have like a 3D CG Noodle, and they're totally different.
I remember that
And-
vaguely from Plastic, and that's where it kind of got lost on me.
And then because there was Stylo where they were getting chased by fucking Bruce Willis in high heeled shoes.
Oh, Gorillaz.
If I had to say though, I would say Cracker Island. While maybe not the name, it seems like a couple of their songs refer to the whole trend that goes on nowadays of people trying to become famous on the internet.
I agree.
What I really wonder was in an interview he was asked, Damon Albarn was asked about his like albums, and he pretty much said something to the effect that every album he kind of tries a not a genre, but he tries to make the album like a certain feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the last one, Humans, was his attempt at making something a little more like club music-y, which is why like a lot of those songs have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes me wonder what he was thinking or what he was like going for when he made Cracker Island. But that's my thought, at least. Like it seems like it's kind of an observation on the influencer culture that has come about.
Side note, apparently when they originally created the characters, because he created it with Jamie Hewlett, Damon Albarn created it with Jamie Hewlett, says Noodle was originally conceptualized by co-creator Jamie Hewlett as a 17-year-old girl named Paula Cracker.
Oh,
Okay, interesting.
And then instead they decided to make her name. So I don't know if that's like a callback to that. I don't know if that's a deep cut. I got too far into the Gorillaz stew and I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, please. This if there's ever an episode to put your dick in Gorillaz stew, then right now is the time to do it.
Just dip your ball sack in the clam chowder. We're going in. All right.
So, so Ed made 2 points there. It was, you wonder what he was going for with the sound, and then also the what the lyrics are talking about. And so the first time I listened to it, I had the reaction that I said the first time, where I was like, I don't know Gorillaz lore at all, and I am completely lost. But the thing is, I listened to Humans right when it came out and loved every second of it. And it's weird because I kind of like listened to it that year and then just kind of forgot about it. Like I didn't like, it's not really on my permanent like rotation or whatever. But I really enjoyed it back then. I don't know why. I don't know. It was easy to put on and just be like, this is fire. So when I heard this, I was just like, this is kind of slow, I guess. And I mean, to me, it immediately sounded, like I said, slow. It sounds kind of like everyone's doing sort of an 80s throwback now. The past, I don't want to say 5 years, but recently, let's just say recently, everyone's doing like 80s throwback with like a lot of synth wave type music. And that's kind of what this is. So I don't know if that's what he was going for, because not every song is like that. But here's a little nugget for you guys. Do you want to know who? There was 2 producers on this album. It was Damon Albarn and a guy named Greg Custon, who was one of the lead producers on "Let's Start Here" by Lil Yachty.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
So there you go.
And also Tame Impala's on here.
Yep, there's a Tame Impala song. So hey, little connections between our first couple episodes. And this doesn't sound exactly like the Lil Yachty album. Definitely not. But there's a thread. You know what I mean?
And there's funk and soul, and we've got Thundercat on the first song of Cracker Island.
Yep, there's Thundercat. Tame Impala.
I will just say this. It made me think about this because I don't know if I necessarily say he's better or as good, or I don't know how I'd compare the two. Ultimately, I both think they're supremely talented, and they're two of my favorite. But hearing Thundercat and hearing him so prominently across multiple different artists, and hearing him collab with other artists throughout the music industry, it makes me think: is Thundercat the 21st century Bootsy Collins?
Like he is the
Like
bass guy on
the
everything.
go-to, he's the go-to prominent bassist, yeah, in
Yes.
the music industry. That like, like if you want a sick bass line and you want someone featured to do it, then you go to Thundercat for it
At this
because
point, yeah.
he's worked with like every like person in the music industry.
No, you can if you look up Thundercat's Wikipedia page or whatever, like his
Mhm.
yeah, pretty much what you just said. You can just see all the people he has worked with and people that have worked with him, vice versa. You know what I mean? Like just the connections he has is basically everyone and anyone. It's huge at this point. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think I like everything he does. So it's hard for anytime I see Thundercat's name on something, I immediately want to listen to it.
Oh, what? Oh my god! Wait. Oh my god! What? Okay. Sorry. Random side note.
Yes.
But apparently Thundercat was the bassist when Mac Miller did his Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah, not just that, but I think on a lot of his albums, a lot of Mac Miller's albums,
He probably
it was
yeah.
Thundercat.
I mean,
If I'm not
sort of
mistaken.
Mac Miller obviously worked with Kendrick Lamar on "To Pimp a Butterfly."
Yep.
He's
Flying
worked
Lotus.
with Erykah Badu, Flying Lotus. Yeah, like.
And then of course on
Gorillaz,
his
he's
on his own.
Yeah.
And he was in what was that punk band? Was it? I can't remember. Suicidal Tendencies, maybe. Look up whoever he worked with first. It might have been Suicidal Tendencies. It's like a punk band that he was the bassist for. I could be completely misremembering the name, but it was whatever band he was a part of first, and yeah,
it says he was close friends with Mac Miller apparently.
But yeah, he's been around for a while. Anyways, but so okay, I'll throw this out. So the first time I listened to it, this whole album, like I said, I felt lost. I was just kind of like maybe I'm way behind on Gorillaz lore. I don't really understand what they're talking about. I just was like, okay.
I was just here for the boogie beats.
Well, that's what I was reading the lyrics and I was like, I don't really get it. And then I put it on shuffle, or like I was listening to it, absentmindedly, and I really like the second half of the album a lot. I don't know what's different. I mean, the first half is fine, but I like the second half a lot. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Did anyone listen to the deluxe version?
No, Ed told me to because it had like a De La Soul song and something else. No, I listened to the thing. What did you tell me to listen to? I listened to that.
It was the piano acoustic version of Silent Running.
Yes, I heard that. But then there was something else. What was the name of the song? There was like a funny song.
Oh, it was Captain Chicken.
Yes.
All right, I started listening to it, and I just wasn't in the mood for anything quite as ridiculous as it sounded.
I didn't listen to that or the De La Soul stuff or any of that other stuff, but so.
Oh, I did listen to when I listened to it. I listened to the deluxe edition.
Okay, so you did hear all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Those are all bonus tracks after what is the last song? It's
Possession Island.
Possession Island. Yeah, so it's only 10 songs, and then everything after that is bonus.
Oh.
So
And then you got good.
I was gonna say. I mean, so Ed, what do you think? What do you comments? What do you think? Give me some.
As the Gorillaz guy.
Yeah. You don't have to like it if you don't like it, tear it apart right now.
No, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of songs on here that aren't ones that would necessarily like bump too much, but I still very much enjoyed them.
That's kind of how I felt.
But the ones that I hearted, like, I very much enjoy.
I personally really like New Gold, and I don't know if that's just because I'm a Tame Impala guy already, and I'm not a huge Tame Impala guy, but like, I really like that song a lot. I don't know why. I just really like New Gold. And at first, the first time I heard Baby Queen, all right. So the first time I heard Baby Queen, I'm listening to it and I'm reading the lyrics on Genius. I was gonna say Rap Genius. That was the old name. I'm reading the lyrics. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's talking about a baby girl that's a princess and he's like in love with her or something. I was like, this is, what kind of Gorillaz lore is this? And I clicked on it. And it's not even Gorillaz lore. It's Damon Albarn. When he was, listen to this. When he was part of what was the band, Blur? When he was part of Blur back in the 90s, they went on tour and they went to Thailand, and they, I guess a Thai princess was at their concert in Thailand. And she was like in it, got carried there by a bunch of dudes in like a big ass chair throne thing, right? Like exactly how you would imagine, like getting carried there in a throne. Had like 50 bodyguards around her, and carried her to the Blur concert in 1995 or whatever in Thailand. And then when song 2 came on, apparently she jumped out of, which I don't know for context, does everyone know what song 2 is?
Yeah.
By Blur.
Yeah.
Yes, their most famous song. When that song came on, apparently she jumped out of the chair and got into the mosh pit or whatever. And that the song is about her and about how he remembers her. And she was like 15 years old or something then. So, and how he still thinks about the 15-year-old princess from Thailand who was like trapped as being a princess and really wanted to be, in the mosh pit or whatever. So I was like, that's what the song is about? Okay, it makes a little more sense now. And the song's good.
Okay.
So.
In my notes, I thought it might be a song dedicated to like a daughter that he might have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make, that's what it would make, because it's not like a love song, which I thought at first I was like, this is kind of creeping me out. And I was like, okay, it's not a love song, but it's a little weird. And then once I read the context, I was like, okay. I really like New Gold, Baby Queen. The Bad Bunny song I thought was interesting. I didn't really like it, but I thought it was interesting.
You didn't like Tormenta?
I hearted that one.
I just was like, I don't like Bad Bunny at all, so I was like,
Ed, you got that Latino in you. You gotta like that Bad Bunny.
That's the thing. I never heard Bad Bunny.
Now.
Wait, you've never heard Bad Bunny before until now?
I've heard the name,
okay.
But like I've never listened to a Bad Bunny song until Tormenta.
I mean, again, not a terrible song.
Pretty
I just
sure
was like, meh.
What I know from TikTok is that it seems like it's impossible. It seems like it's impossible to be a Latina female and not listen to Bad Bunny.
Not love Bad Bunny.
He's a reggaeton Drake. Okay.
Ask. Well, I mean, I don't want to say he's more popular than Drake now, but he's like number 3 in the world, so he's way up there on Spotify. He's way up there. So I mean, maybe. I don't care. I don't hate Bad Bunny. I'm just like, he sounds the same in every song, and that song, and it had the translated lyrics.
Y'all keep talking. I'll be right back.
It had the translated lyrics on Genius when I was reading it. And I was like, these are very, very just straightforward and just, I thought there was gonna be something interesting in here, and it's just it's just basically like
reggaeton song.
A very stereotypical. I love you song, but I need to leave or whatever.
Yep.
And that's basically it. And I was just like, okay, all right. Whatever.
I really like the juxtaposition of like his voice, because I fucking love Damon Albarn's
the way he
vocals.
Sings.
Yeah, like any song that has like, so I really like this album, especially because of that. Like,
it's mostly just him singing.
Yes, because like Plastic Beach
Yep.
was like a lot of like collaborations where like he wasn't even in the song, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I really like this one for that reason, but I really liked how the juxtaposition between like the reggaeton Spanish singing, and then he kind of comes in with his
for the chorus
just
or whatever.
Yeah, like it's something I never would have thought I would ever get to hear. And then towards the end where it had like the music box with the rain at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. I was like,
well, that's what. So like to me, so I was trying, especially the first time I listened to it, when I was sitting down and just staring at the cover, staring at the lyrics, listening to it, and I was like, okay, so I don't really understand what the story is that's going on in here. It's someone is leaving an island in a storm during, it's raining, there's a storm, and they're leaving the island, the Cracker Island, and so that's where I was like, who is leaving, and why? Because the first song, it's talking about Cracker Island. And to me, the impression I was getting about Cracker Island was it's an island that is symbolizing the internet and fake things on the internet. And maybe it's kind of like, hey, the Gorillaz are a fake band that only exists virtually. So it's kind of trying to say, what is it trying to say about this island? I'm like, I don't know why it's called Cracker Island, but it's talking about the internet and fake stuff on the internet, and kind of, to me, that I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of like, well, the Gorillaz are a fake thing on the internet. But so, blah, 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 fast forward to Tormenta, and it's about someone leaving an island while it's storming. And I'm like, okay, so someone is leaving Cracker Island right now. That is kind of the point we're at. I didn't really ever fully connect the dots here.
I never made that connection.
And the last song is called Possession Island. So they're leaving Cracker Island and going to Possession Island. So, and you know what I mean? I'm never really. They're talking about like hydrofoils in the last one, which is like a boat. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what it's like.
That's where they meet Captain Chicken.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, we're not talking about the deluxe edition. So Possession Island. They were talking about like something to do with heaven, I think, and I'm like, okay, so they're leaving the first island and going to the Possession Island, but then they're mentioning heaven. So eventually I just was like, I'll let someone else figure it out.
What if this is the final Gorillaz album? And they all just Jones down themselves.
Maybe. No, yeah, I don't really. They're saying something, and like I said, I'm not up on Gorillaz lore, so maybe it's in there somewhere, but I'm not sure. And Silent Running, I feel like, had some Gorillaz lore going on in that song, and I don't really like that song that much, but it's still.
You don't like Silent Running?
Yeah, it was just boring to me.
Love that one.
What?
To me, as someone who's listened to like synth pop for the past 5 years, it's like that's just another synth pop song. I'm not trying to shit on them or anything, but it's like
I'm a synth pop. I'm a synth pop veteran, all right?
I mean, really,
here at the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
And that's the thing that like will make an album good or bad to someone without anyone's fault. But it's like, if it's like I've heard a million songs like this before, then it's less impressive, And it's not to shit on the Gorillaz or anything. It's like, to me, I'm like, okay, I've heard that song before. not really, but kind of.
It's funny because as someone who doesn't listen to a lot of synth pop, I was like, oh, this is like a nice change of pace for me, like listening, like musically listening wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it kind of refreshed me. I was like, oh yeah,
it's more
this is
my
like...
fault than anything. That's just how it is. Yeah,
you were there when they were blitzkrieging and dropping mustard gas in the synth pop world war.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's bad. Like in Cracker Island, I think it's fine. I kind of wanted more crazy bass stuff in Cracker Island with Thundercat on it, and it's not a lot of crazy bass. It's a kind of a weird song, which is Thundercat's thing, but it wasn't as crazy bass or like as I thought it might be. But it's fine. I'm gonna throw this out there, and I don't like bringing stuff down. I liked pretty much everything. Like I enjoyed the album. My least favorite is the Stevie Nicks song. I really was not a fan at all. Really? I didn't like her voice.
Me and Ed are like on the same page.
I just was like, I like Stevie Nicks, and I thought it was bad. If I'm gonna say something's bad, I thought it was pretty bad. That was like my least favorite song by far.
Very, very interesting.
It's just she sounded like someone who's been smoking cigarettes for the last 40 years, and I was like, oh man, they really should not have had her.
I think
I'd rather have Amy Winehouse or something like.
True, but I just thought it sounded good. Both of them singing at the same time, just doing like a duet thing. Like, so another thing is for me, another reason why I like Gorillaz and I like Damon Albarn as well. It's just like, I don't know, if I want to listen to, I really like Damon Albarn's voice because it's so British. Like it's just
distinctly British.
If I want to listen to something,
Ed said that while you were in the
I was like,
Boy,
Not that it's a bad thing. Keep going.
Fucking shoes there.
Because,
Isn't it?
okay, here's the thing. It's so interesting for me because, and I think Daniel, I've talked about this before, is that like so many British artists, like when they sing, they don't sound British, and like don't know they're British until they do interviews, and you're like, what? Like their like accent goes away. So for me, I think it's pretty interesting when you hear someone who like still has their accent even when they're singing,
Yep.
and it sounds good. So for me, like I don't know, I've always liked Damon Albarn's voice, and it's one of the main reasons why I still listen to Gorillaz stuff. It's like I like the vocals, and they have really interesting, like synth kind of funky beats.
Well, when you can tell someone's British by them saying "woo-hoo," like that, you can hear their accent in the "woo-hoo" in song number 2 by Blur. Then they're very, very British.
It's just so strong. It's just, but okay, but then that's like it's so weird that like there's people who's like their accent's so strong that you hear it when they sing and when they don't sing. And then it's still weird when there's someone who has a super strong accent and you don't hear it when they sing. Like Adele.
Yep.
Like Adele doesn't sound British at all.
Amy Winehouse too.
She's like, oh my god, I love her. I love Beyonce. I can't believe I get to do something with. And you're like, oh my god, you sound like you'd be screaming at someone outside of a Liverpool match. Like, what is happening?
I mean, yeah, Amy Winehouse had that like
so
super
British.
strong, and then when she sings, she sounds like an old black lady or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like, what happened?
Yeah, like when I first heard Amy Winehouse, I thought she was black, and then I was like, oh, what?
What is happening? She's a Jewish British woman.
Yeah, like, and it's the same with like Adele. Like Adele hits those notes, and you're like, damn, girl, okay. It's like, I don't know. She hung out with Jamaicans too much. Has anyone seen that photo?
Yeah, yes.
It's so bad. Oh man, the homegirl's got the Bantu knots and a fucking like Jamaican top, and I'm like, ma'am, what in the cultural appropriation are you doing right now? This was so bad.
I love Adele.
It's all
I know
right.
that she is
It's all right. She's engaged to Stormzy, so it's all good.
I'm never a big. I don't know. I try to take my pop with a grain of salt, like super big pop stars.
Mhm.
But I like Adele's music. Can't help it. It's
Oh,
good.
nah, man, you don't have a soul if you don't like
Sorry, it's
Adele.
good.
Just it's yeah, her voice is insane.
I remember the first
there's
time I
people
heard
that have an incredible voice, and you just have to respect it. Like you got to be like, listen, this is good.
on another
This
level.
is objectively good. Like your voice is insane. It's objectively.
What was the song she blew up with?
Rolling in the Deep.
Rolling in the Deep. That song
Yeah.
is still, in my opinion, one of the best
Mhm.
songs I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard it, and I was super into punk music and gangster rap, but nothing
Mhm.
that I would call pop.
Mhm.
I hated any Britney Spears, anything like that. I was not listening to at all. And I heard
Mhm.
that song come on MTV, and I instantly went on LimeWire and downloaded that shit because it was so good or whatever. Just like, this song is good. I don't care who makes it. It's a good ass song.
My favorite Adele song is probably "Hometown Glory."
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like when I was like, okay, I could listen to anything she sings. Like it's really good.
I remember hearing "Rolling in the Deep," and then there was an MTV, because that was when we all still watched MTV. There was an MTV like artists you should know thing, where it would show like sort of lesser known artists that was like on around the same time, and it was "Chasing Pavements." I don't know if you guys have ever heard that song by her. But it was like
It
it was
does
on
not
her
ring a
album
bell.
before, because she made, what was it, 19, 21, and 25, I think are
Mhm.
her albums. And it
Yeah,
was
all
on
of her
her
albums are
first
named after
album. So when she was before she really blew up. And look up a song called "Chasing Pavements" by Adele. That's from her very first album before she got famous. And even in that song, I was okay, that song's good
That's
too.
what "Hometown Glory" is on. "Hometown
Okay,
Glory"
so
is on 19.
first, yeah, look,
So the funny
she's been good
thing
forever.
is, yeah. So the funny thing is like the reason why "Hometown Glory" is like one of my favorites is ironically because she got sampled. It was like sampled in a hip hop song. Do you know who sampled her? Where I first heard it from?
Where?
Big Sean.
Wow, out of all, okay, interesting.
I think on his finally famous mixtape, not the album.
Mhm.
he did a cut of it, and then I was like, oh, who's this who's singing on this? And I didn't know that it was like a sample of like Adele, and I was like, oh, okay.
Originally,
And then
okay.
yeah,
Wow, she's only number 35 in the world on Spotify. That's actually kind of surprising to me. Unless she'd be like top 10, but I guess music changes so rapidly now that top
yeah,
100 is pretty fluid. I saw Weekend was about to be number
yeah.
1. So, all right. Cracker Island. I don't know. Do you any more? Ed, do you have any? I feel like, do you have anything else to say? I mean, what else we got to say about this? Anything?
Oh, ever since you mentioned kind of the overarching story, I've been looking at my notes
Yes.
and like, oh my god,
Starting to make more sense.
Yeah, because of what you said, and then kind of looking at it from the life that we live in now, where everyone wants to be an influencer kind
Mm-hmm.
of lens. Um, some of the notes that I wrote down, which by the way, Stevie Nicks, I wrote in my notes, if someone told me it was Miley Cyrus, I would believe it.
I
Yeah, she
mean,
does.
they both smoke.
True.
They both smoke like 4 packs of cigarettes a day. So yeah, that's fine.
Miley's voice, like you don't hear it necessarily when she sings still yet, but like my God, if you hear her talk in interviews now, it's like Jesus, she sounds like she'd be working at the market right off of Route 20.
Yes, at the Exxon, she has
Like
definitely smoked
I
20 packs a day for the past 10 years.
I
Hey, honey, what are you having?
Yes, yes.
I expect her to be freaking frying up some potato wedges, some dank ass potato wedges I can pick up.
The country potato wedges from the country store.
God, dude, you know how many times I ordered that shit, dude? Like every time, because I always got dropped off from the activity bus, in middle school
Mhm.
there, and then like my mom would pick me up on her way back from school. So like, and so it was like somewhere to sit, because I don't know, like a lot of my times when my mom worked, like she worked at the school, and so I would just fucking order like a box of those potato wedges and just listen to music on my fucking CD player.
Yep. Got CD player.
Because middle school was the last time I had a CD player.
Yep. So, I mean, I don't really know. Like I said, I'm not up on the Gorillaz lore. I just tried to piece it together from that first listen, and then I said, "All right, I don't care. I don't understand. I'm just gonna listen to it as trying to enjoy the music." And then I got more into it. Like I said, the first like Crack Island's fine. Oil is my least favorite. Tired Influencer was another one that I thought was fine, and then Silent Run is where I'm like, okay, and then then it really from there it picks up. I thought, and I really like the rest of the album after that. Possession Island's a little slow or whatever, but it's supposed to be closing out the album, and I mean I don't know, to me like to me music's weird, and like the Gorillaz are now literally 25 years old or something like that, so it's a little, I don't want to say like at first I was like this is going to be out of date or whatever you want to call it, like they've been around so long that it's like how can they keep making Gorillaz stuff, but to me, I mean, I think it's still fitting. I don't know, it's not like revolutionary like Demon Days was in my opinion, but nothing really, it's impossible to keep up that type of pace. It's more
Yeah.
Gorillaz. It just more if so it's not like my favorite Gorillaz album of all time, at least not yet on first couple listens. But I think that
I don't know if
I
we're
think it's
ever gonna
interesting.
reach that Demon Days high again.
It's hard
No.
to do that. That's where when listening to an album by either an artist that you consider really good, or a artist that has produced an album that you consider like a peak, it's how can they do that again? I mean, in my lifetime, I think there's only been maybe like, at least for artists that I like, I should say, within my lifetime, there's only been like 3 or 4, like less than 10 that have made albums where I've been like, their last album was one of my favorites ever. They're never gonna make something as good as that. And then they did, and that's like, I don't know, that's like Kanye and Kendrick. Like there's a couple more, but like there are very few have in my lifetime one up themselves. It's very hard to do. So, and that's I don't want to take away anything from this. Like I can't believe that I guess Damon Albarn, like I said, he's mostly kind of doing it by himself. He's got like producers that help him sometimes, but I think it's pretty interesting.
It's like his like whole creative project that he just ran with.
Said, fuck it, I'm just doing this forever. Like just as just cuz. Yeah,
being a music weeb.
I thought this was interesting, and Ed brought it up before, how the last one you said it was like a club kind of music, and like their very first album, like the original one, is I don't want to say his take on hip hop, but kinda, or it's kind of like I don't know. The first one is kind of my least favorite.
I could do that.
And then Demon Days to me is so exotic, like it's
so
good.
Good.
It's and me and David talked about this, and maybe we can get into this another time. No, and we'll get into this another time probably. But what's his name? Danger Mouse produced or helped produce that one.
Yeah,
and I think that that was the right time and place for that to happen. To where Danger Mouse is the guy, for anyone that doesn't know, that was the second half of Gnarls Barkley, like with with what's his name?
He produced for
CeeLo.
with CeeLo.
And then on top of that, he did the Black Keys album Brothers, which was their most popular album, and
that's my favorite album from them.
Yeah,
that is like hands down my favorite album.
Yeah, it's like their most popular album, Brothers. He did, and then he did, what was the other one? It was like with MF Doom, Danger Doom.
Mm-hmm.
He and a lot more. He's produced
Mad
a lot
Villain.
of albums.
Oh he did the adult. They did the Adult Swim album.
Yep.
Not Mad Villain. Why did I say that? That's Mad Lib. He did a Danger Doom. Yeah, and honestly, it is I would say my favorite like joking, not serious comedy album is Danger. Like I legitimately had it. It's another thing that if I was able to find it in the dusty scrap heap of my old room back home, if I found my PSP, like that's on there. Like, the entire Danger Doom album. I used to listen to it. Like
it's a whole nother.
Listen to Sofa King.
Yes, Sofa King. Yes. I mean, that's a whole nother. Like it's almost a parody album, but it's so good.
Yeah.
That like how do I put this? Because like Weird Al, he's a parody artist, but it's hard to like. Not many people are gonna go, I'm gonna put this Weird Al album on repeat. Like you might listen to some songs sometimes, but
I love Weird Al, but
very talented.
I would take that Danger Doom album.
Yes,
Weird Al's made. I love it so much. It's so dumb, but the fact that like it's like, okay, one, I love MF Doom. Two, he's literally rapping the entire time about Adult Swim shows, and like teenage me did nothing but watch Adult Swim. Like, I mean, my freaking ADD ass was not going to sleep before 1 a.m. at any point in time in middle school and high school, so I just watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force and all the other dumb shows that were on Adult Swim all night. And the fact that I had one of my favorite rap artists just spitting bars about the Brack show and Aqua Teen Hunger Force was just like, yeah, it was just like crazy.
Are you saying they made that album for you?
They probably did.
or should I say that you are very similar to the people that made that album? Like how we're talking about, they're all
I called into William Street. Yeah, I don't know. It's just William Street. I don't know. Like Adult Swim, the guys that were behind it, for some reason, they just had, I don't know, they just had the humor that matched my humor.
Yep.
And or maybe it was, I liked it so much that I was like shaped by the humor that they were putting out. And that's like where I get it from. I don't know. I just know like, because I remember watching it from the beginning. Because like they started in like 2000, 2001, and it was just like, home movies.
I was saying, I remember the original intent of Adult
Ghost.
Swim. It was like where they took an old, like they were like, we're going to take old Hanna-Barbera properties and like that no one uses anymore and license them
Ted Turner
to
had the
do
rights
dumb
to them.
shit. and they were like Space Ghost was an old horrible cartoon that like no one actually liked. I thought like it was like a shitty off-brand, like that kind of failed.
My dad said he does remember watching Space Ghost.
Yeah, it was kind of like it's like the equivalent of like the third tier cartoon that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that show, and then like they
that
take
stuff
it
that wasn't as popular as Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they take that and then they go like, okay, we're gonna license that and make it into a talk show, like a nighttime talk show, and then go run with it, and crazy idea that they somehow got like they were able to do, and it just spawned everything else. Spawned Carl Brutanenowski.
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah.
Carl Brutanenowski. God, I loved Harvey Birdman so much.
Hey, you get
and
that?
Phil Kinseben, the head of the law firm, voiced by Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
Dang.
Hey, you
just like do that laugh and random.
You get that thing I sent you?
Did you get that thing that I sent you?
Yeah, to me, and I don't remember who I was talking to this about, but like to me, Gorillaz and MF Doom and Adult Swim all like they occupy the same place in my brain. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the time period, but they all are like the same. Like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Gorillaz, MF Doom, all in the same spot in my brain.
The merging of music and animation.
Yes. It's a real thing. Maybe this connects to the Cassiopeia thing where like that connects to like video games, and it's like for whatever reason all this stuff is like in the same, it's lodged in the same spot in my brain. So when I think of one, like the other is like right there. It's like the same time period, the same kind of like goofy style. It's just all the same. It's not the same, but it's in the same spot in my brain for some reason.
So what exploded my brain back in like college was like, I started listening to Daft Punk, I started listening to Discovery when you like started telling me about it like my freshman year. And for me, like my brain exploded when I figured out about Interstellar 555, which was like the animated film that
to go with
the
it
song. Because that my thing was I didn't listen to Daft Punk until 2011 or that time period or whatever. But I remember Interstellar being played and advertised on Toonami in the late 90s as a kid. I remember seeing this weird music like animated film, anime film, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, it unlocked a memory in my brain, and I was like, when I was like looking up Daft Punk when I started listening to them, and I was like, oh shit, I remember that like animated film, but I had no idea who made it and why. Like I had no connection to it. Like I just, because like, as a, like, especially back then, like that wasn't any realm of music that I was listening to.
Yep. I mean, so this begs the question in my brain that it's pretty much the same thing I just brought up, and like kind of like this involves Cassiopeia too. We can thread this all together. Like, so do you think you like Daft Punk as much as you do because for what it like made this weird nostalgia connection in your brain when you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this is pretty good, and then like it got this weird nostalgia link to an older thing you saw, and just I don't know, like
maybe because also the animation style, I have to look it up. I think they are connected, but the animation style of the Interstellar.
Don't say it looks like Gundam. Don't say it looks like Gundam.
I was going to say yes, but I was going to also say specifically it reminds me of Astro Boy and Cyborg 009. It reminds me of old school OG like anime. So I'm going to try and look up who did the animation because I feel like they're connected somehow.
Production companies for Interstellar is Toei Animation, Daft Life, Wild Bunch, BAC Films.
We should watch that sometime. I've never actually watched the full thing through.
What, Interstellar?
Yeah, I've only ever seen the music videos for like the songs. You know what I mean?
I've watched the whole thing through one time. It's like really good.
Yeah, we should do that. Well, any other thoughts on Cracker Island before we cut this thing loose?
I mean, I just listened to the entire thing while you guys were discussing.
Wait, did you really just listen to it during the podcast?
Yes.
Do you like Gorillaz at all, Zach?
Like,
have you ever listened to them or no?
The only thing I've really listened to is Feel Good Inc.
Okay.
No,
No, that's what everyone's heard.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
That's what everyone has heard.
It was good. And the big man laughing in the distance as you.
Hey, that's De La Soul. That's
That's
De La Soul.
De La Soul.
Laughing.
And then it says milk duds.
No, okay, don't ruin the
No.
goddamn song again.
Don't you
I
dare
was
bring
just
up what
got
Baron
able to listen
said.
to it again. Baron ruined it. I thought he was saying milk duds the whole time.
What? What do you want from me? I thought you were saying it.
It's like the song title is called
Country
Feel
Rock
Good.
Band.
He's just like, I thought he was saying milk duds.
Milk Duds Inc.
Classic.
Milk Duds Inc. I mean, like the Hershey Chocolate Corporation.
I got
So,
a couple
I'll say-
things.
God,
Oh,
I
yes,
love.
Well, if David has some, I
Ed
can wait.
can go
I was
last, maybe.
just gonna. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, for me, it was a little nice trip down memory lane, being like, oh yeah, I remember when I was like bumping Gorillaz all the time. I sounded like a lot of the songs that I liked were kind of lined up with Ed. Like, I liked Cracker Island, I liked Oil, I liked Silent Running, I liked New Gold, and I liked Tormenta. And then I liked two of the songs off of the deluxe edition as well. Which one is just the New Gold remix, the Dom Dollar remix. That one's
Yep.
a banger. And then I liked ironically enough, I liked the Controlla song with MC Bin Laden.
Yes. Yeah.
And apparently, the funny thing is, the guy who's MC Bin Laden is actually Brazilian
Okay.
because he's actually speaking Portuguese. I heard it and I was like, this kind of sounds like Portuguese. And then I asked my Brazilian friend, and he was like, oh, I was like, why did you never tell me that you guys had a artist named MC Bin Laden? And he was like, oh yeah, I haven't heard of that guy in a while. He was like, apparently he's like a guy from like the 2000s or whatever. And he was like, yeah, he blew up in Brazil and then didn't really do anything much outside of it. And I was like, yeah, I don't think he was going to be blowing up in America with the name MC Bin Laden.
He'll be
If he
blowing
was
up
dropping
in
stuff in the mid
America.
2000s.
Oh, he'd be blowing up. You know what I mean?
He'd be blowing up in America.
Zach,
He was
do
just
you
running
have
in
any...
towers.
What?
Zach, how do you feel after listening to it for the first time, just sitting here?
I mean, it's not. I'm not like pogging at it. That's what you expect me to be like. Oh man, it was really good. It was kind of like, it's all right.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
all I
poggers, but
could
it's
say
not.
about
But
it.
it's not unpoggers.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
No.
I didn't hate anything. It's just like, it's all right.
the more I listen to it, the more I like it. And it's not like the first time I listened to it, I hated it, but yeah, I like it. Ed, I want to hear. All right, Ed, how do you feel? Give me your thoughts. What were you gonna say?
There's a couple things I wanted to point out.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because of the New Gold, because it really felt like the album peaked with New Gold. I really like the line "New Gold, Fool's Gold,
Yep.
everything disappears."
Yep, that's the one I literally wrote down that. So yeah.
And then it kind of seems like it kind of coasts until the end.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never really stopped and noticed that you mentioned how Tormenta is like a guy leaving
Yep.
his
singing about
love,
leaving love on
during
an
a
island.
storm.
Yep.
Because next up on my notes for Skinny Ape, I've noted how he says like I'm a cartoon G, like essentially saying like I'm all good, like I'm good,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm okay. And then in the last track, Possession Island, did you guys? I don't know if you guys noticed. Do you know what the last words on the last, not including the deluxe version, obviously,
Just the regular.
but what the last words of the last track are?
The only thing I wrote down here's what I wrote down for notes. I said something talking about heaven? ? So I don't know.
The last words were the end.
Till the end.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just me reading into things or anything. I just
I
thought
don't
that was
know.
very fitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do listen to the deluxe track, kind of if you listen to this album again, I would recommend you check out that acoustic version of Silent Running by itself after you listen to the track, and it might hit differently.
Yeah, I listen to it in the background, but I need to actually sit down and listen to it because I listened to it after you pointed it out.
I think, where is it?
Well, overall for me, I would probably rate it around the same as the Lil Yachty album, but I probably would listen to this more than the Lil Yachty album.
You think so?
And yeah, only because like I'm more familiar with the Gorillaz sound. Like I've because I've listened to Gorillaz for so much over the years. It's like a comfortability thing. I mean, like I can throw on my like my favorited songs from this album, and I would bump them. But I don't know, cause like I feel like sometimes the Lil Yachty album, it's so like Pink Floyd out there that I gotta be like in a certain mood to just like bump some of these tracks. Whereas Gorillaz, I can just throw on Gorillaz whenever.
I think this
I don't know.
this one is shorter. It's 10 songs, and to me,
Yeah,
each
the songs aren't long.
song is its own song. Let's Start Here feels more like the songs lose something when you take them out of the album, whereas if you play it straight through,
Yeah,
they
it's definitely
sound better. If you just
Which is
listen to
weird
a
'cause-
single song, it's not as good.
Highly suggest when you get a chance listening to that
The
silent running version.
the piano version. So you're saying are you trying to say it opens up more like it reveals something? It just sound. I mean, it sounds different, I guess. So
it hits different.
yeah. All right, David, you want to take us out for the second time?
Colonel, I'm in the big show.